Chambers of the Occult may contain content that might not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Episode 4, here we are.
Hello.
I'm Jay.
I'm Kai.
I'm Alexis.
And we are Chambers of the... No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
And we are Chambers of the Occult.
Oh.
Okay, we can get some more energy in that, guys. We'll practice that later.
Yeah.
I was doing finger guns. You just couldn't see them.
He's doing jazz hands.
Oh,
Yeah.
And kind of
Jazz
girl.
man?
You know what I'm saying? What?
Axeman? What?
Oh man. By the way, you guys should listen to our previous episodes. We have 3 episodes out, and I talk about an Axeman that likes people who listen to jazz.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. You should listen. you know?
Yeah.
If you're starting with episode 4, great. Just letting you know, it's gonna, if you go 4, 3, 2, 1, we're not getting better as you go backwards. But if you're starting from 1 to 4 and we're getting better.
Yeah, so if you're listening and this is the first time you're listening, don't listen. Go back to episode 1.
Welcome.
And then progress from there.
Do listen, please. Don't listen to Alexis.
Listen. Don't listen to this one as your first episode.
They can. It might be a good one.
Yeah,
You don't know what I'm covering. I don't know what you're
Well,
covering.
it's of course it's going to be good. Why? Because I'm starting it off.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right.
And you're
so right.
doing true crime, right?
I am doing a true crime case.
Cool.
Wow.
So I know I said this already when we weren't recording, but just for the listeners, again, I am not going to pronounce all of these names in the correct way. So
Because they're Romanian names.
they literally are. They literally
Are they?
Yes, they literally are. I'm not even joking.
I literally just
Just a reminder, like, we don't discuss the cases we're doing with each other before it. So, like, we don't know. So that's actually funny.
No,
It's a
yeah.
surprise.
Actually great. Cool.
Yeah. And also just to kind of like keep up with everything that I've been doing in the previous episodes, Josh Hutcherson.
Okay.
If you know, you know.
Can we cut that out?
No. Keep that in. Keep that in, Jay. Keep it in. Anyways, I'm just kidding. Anyways. So
If I don't keep it in, she's gonna like
I'm gonna
drop
murder
it
you.
as little breadcrumbs throughout the show. And
I'm
then
gonna
it'll be
tell
more
Josh
hard to
Hutcherson.
cut that out.
I'm gonna tell
we
Josh
have to...
if you don't believe it.
No, please.
I'm just gonna bleep that word out.
Yeah.
It's like
And
a
it's gonna
bad
sound like
word.
Alexis is cussing at everyone.
Oh my god. Yes, do that.
Okay. Care to take us off to Romania?
Yeah. Let's travel to Romania, guys.
Whoa.
Specifically,
When and are we getting
Purple.
there?
2019.
Oh, wow.
This is pretty recent.
Wow.
Yeah, to be specific, July 25th, 2019. So my case, I'm going to talk about the kidnapping of Alexandra Măceșanu and Luiza Melencu.
Sounds like the doctor's last name.
This took place in Caracol, Olt County, Romania, on July 25th, 2019. And this case pretty much made Romanian history. The police department of Romania, like overall, got a lot of extreme criticism due to this case and how they handled it. It took them 19 hours to locate and search the building that Alexandra was held captive in.
Wait. Okay, tell us what happened, because now I'm curious. That's
what I'm going to get into. So this starts off with Alexandra, a 15-year-old girl who had went missing on July 24th, 2019. At the time, she was hitchhiking. Now, one thing I do want to put out there, in Romania, the transportation system overall was very poor. So hitchhiking wasn't too out of the norm.
It was very common.
Yes, very common. And
I honestly feel like European hitchhiking is very common, but I might just be making that up or not.
It probably is.
It seems like relatively safer than American hitchhiking. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a high rate of serial killers. But go on, Alexis.
Romania has a high rate of human trafficking, which is another thing I want to put out there. But at the time, Alexandra was hitchhiking from her village, Dobosloveni, to Karakol. And she was picked up by this man in a gray car. He went by the name of, it's spelled kind of like George, but it's pronounced Gorge.
Gorge.
Gorge Dinka is his name. He is was a 65-year-old man. And he had taken Alexandra to a house in Karakol. Now, Alexandra was held captive, of course, in this house, and she tried to find ways to communicate with anybody. And she managed to find his phone. Did you have
Why was she going to that town or city?
Yeah.
She was going to her hometown. That's her hometown. So she was just going back to her family.
Okay. Makes sense.
She managed to find his phone in the room that she was in, and she called Romanians 911-112 3 times. So the call logs were released publicly on Facebook by Alexandra's uncle, Alexandru.
Did he work at the station? Or the call center?
No, he did not. No, he was a businessman and a former talk show host. So like how he got these was simply by like getting her call records. Also so he had written them down and he had published them on Facebook. And Alexandru, her uncle, wanted to show
Alexandru?
Yeah.
Alexander and Andrew.
Okay.
Quote, the rottenness of a murderous system and the courage of this incredible child, end quote. So the first call log was on July 25th, 2019 again, at 11:05 a.m. And when Alexandra made this call, she had stated that she had been kidnapped and was being held captive in a house in Karakol. Now, the operator had asked if she had been raped. By the way, trigger warning. And unfortunately, she was. So she revealed that information to the operator.
Which means the one that heard the call on Facebook heard.
Yeah. But the operator had told her that they needed more information to know exactly where she was.
Okay.
And so she called again at 11:06. And she told the operator that she had been kidnapped, just to repeat again, in a gray car, then blindfolded and locked in a room. But she did remember passing by a dam, which led her to believe that she was in a district in Karakol called Bold. And so
what was it called?
Bold.
Okay.
And she had also found this business card in the room. And on the business card was the name Lucian Gabriel Popescu. And she wasn't sure, but she revealed that information to the operator just in case it was the perpetrator. But again, she wasn't fully confident on this. But on the business card, there was an address, and she had given that address to the police. Now, I am going to switch from the operator to the police, because when I mention the police, that is when I'm talking about when the police officers took over the call. So they took over the call.
Go ahead.
But the police had taken over the call, and they had tracked down the address to an apartment. Unfortunately, Alexandra was not held in an apartment. She was held in a detached house. So that was a miss. At 11:12 a.m., Alexandra had made her third and final call and asked if the police were on their way to her. Now, during this call, all of these 3 calls actually, it was said that the police had spoken to her in a condescending manner. And yeah, she was begging for help, and she was just simply trying to talk about how scared she was and hoping that her being extremely scared as a 15-year-old child being abducted would make them be more urgent about the situation.
I mean, and she called them 3 times.
She called them 3 times, yeah. Like, that's more than enough for you to be able to track her down. Like, you
this
literally...
was 2019. Track the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, I don't know what technology, like, in Romania, but still, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
You would also think that, like, 2019 people, or at least the cops, they would be a little bit more professional when it came to situations.
Yeah, it kind of broke my heart when they said that they were kind of being condescending towards her. But the calls were made on July 25th. And at 2 a.m. the next day, police had finally identified her location. But they waited 4 hours before using a search warrant that wasn't required by law to have. So, like, they could have easily to that location right then and there and not needed a search warrant at any point, but they decided to wait for it. And so they went, and the police had finally arrested Dinka. And
wait, so it was the name that was on the card, right?
No.
No.
Like, they arrested to take them in there for the questioning and stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Gorge was the man who had kidnapped Alexandra. And he confessed to the murder of her as well as a 18-year-old girl, Luiza Melencu, who had disappeared back in April. So he committed to both of those crimes. And the agency that had investigated this case, their kind of like abbreviation is DIICOT. I'm going to call them DCOT.
Okay.
DCOT had announced that Alexandra's DNA had been found in dental pieces in a barrel on Dinka's property. Now, the thing is that there were multiple teeth. Some of them did not match with Alexandra's.
No.
But
so there were more.
But the forensic specialist had failed to note that. So they examined the teeth again, but when they examined it, they did it in a destructive method, which led the results to be inconclusive.
And then there's nothing left to test.
Yes.
Yeah. That's sketchy. Was that done like just out of ignorance or out of like...
I'm not sure. I don't know if it was simply because they didn't know how to do their job or because they really just did miss it. But DCOT did issue a death certificate, but the family did not want to accept it. They didn't believe that their niece, daughter had been
valid, yeah.
Yeah. And so the families of Alexandra and Luiza, they didn't believe that they were both murdered, but instead trafficked. Like I said in the beginning of this, human trafficking, unfortunately, very common in Romania. And so it wouldn't be impossible. It really wouldn't be. But again, it was just a theory that they had. And what really led them to believe that they were being trafficked was how easily that Dinka had confessed to these crimes, and also the delay from the police. Like they believe it was intentional.
Oh,
them taking so long to.
Someone of the police was involved?
I don't know. So
I know that like I honestly don't really know where, but I feel like it's kind of a common thing for like somebody to like sacrifice themselves and like take the blame for like
exactly
in order to cover up the actual trafficking ring.
No, yeah, like there's like doppelganger or like copycats. So there's like people that copy other people's murders, or like people that, you know, take cover of their friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know what to believe. Like I can't trust Dinka's word, you know? Like I can't, and I'm sure the family couldn't either, which led them to believe all these, or like come to the different conclusions, you know?
Yeah, and they didn't find bodies, they just found like the teeth, right?
Yep, they did not find any bodies. That's what made it worse, you know, not only for, you know, the police department, but mainly for the families. Like there's no bodies left for them to
Could the police have like planted the teeth or something if somebody was in on it?
It is possible, you know, like there are some, you know,
because it took them 4 hours to get a search warrant that they didn't need. And with 4 hours, you can get someone out of the country.
That is more than enough time, yeah.
And they're police officers. They know the law. They should have known that they didn't need
It's not their first rodeo.
Like literally, like you should have known to go to this location and get this girl. Like she was begging for your help, and you took 19
But they did find
hours.
her, right? Like she was able to get out and like go back to her family.
No,
or she wasn't there. She wasn't there.
No, she was never found. And I think that's like mainly, I don't know. This case was really hard to do research on because like, I don't know. There's so many unanswered questions, and I'm like, and even to this day, there's still some things that they never even went over.
I mean, it sucks that it's so recent, but I guess it gives you a little glimmer of hope that some technology in the future might come along that might locate them or their bodies, you know, give the family some peace, whether it's their actual child or like their child's body. But
it's also really sad to know that this stuff still happens.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. Huge.
Now, the prosecutor, his name was Vasilescu Liviu.
Dope name.
He was he was working on Luiza's case, which again was back in April. So he was the prosecutor of Luiza's case, and he actually found surveillance footage of Dinka's car. And that essentially just linked Dinka to Luiza's disappearance.
Yeah.
The thing was, Vasilescu didn't actually reveal this evidence until the morning of July 27th. But when he did show this evidence, all he did was show a still photo And in
Not
the photo,
Oh.
no, not the video. And in the photo, the license plate wasn't visible.
Oh my God. And this was 3 months later, right? So
April?
like he found it in
Oh,
April,
yeah.
and then he found it in April and then presented it in July.
Yeah.
And let me guess, like they couldn't find the video after that.
No, they still had. Well, no, the only person that technically had access to the video was him himself.
Yeah.
Like nobody else knew what this video.
Nobody else
like.
knew that it was a video, right? Because he only
nobody
shown
else.
the picture.
It was just a photo. And on that same day, another prosecutor, Papascu Christian Ovidiu, had argued that Alexandra was murdered at 2 a.m. due to strangulation, despite the fact that there was no body found.
Thank you. I was gonna be like, there's no body. How can you say that?
Yeah, like how did he put that together?
Did what was it, the guy's name? Gorge?
Yeah, Gorge.
Did he ever like say what he did to the bodies?
Yes, I am gonna get to that.
Okay, sorry, I'm a little impatient.
No, you're fine. No. I know.
I'm like trying to be cop and be like, speak.
I want to build up the anticipation. I want to make you guys really want this information out of me. But so that was like one thing that really blew my mind, is that everyone just believed this guy saying that she was murdered at 2 a.m., which was actually the time that they discovered where her location was. And, declared that it was strangulation, but there was no body found. Like, you literally have no physical evidence saying anything like that. So this was actually also days before Dinka's confession. So it wasn't like they had any evidence that she was murdered in the first place.
Yeah, like they didn't, it wasn't like the first thought to be like, yeah, she was murdered, because Dinka had it like come through to
I mean, if anything, I would imagine they're like, she's still alive. She called 3 times, so we gotta get in there.
I know. Like, that's like the main thing, is that this girl was so smart to find this phone. She risked her life to call 112 3 times, begging for help while she was being held captive. She was, again, trigger warning, raped and abused. Like, she was 15. She was just a little girl, and she was just trying to get to her hometown. And yet, the police department did not even take it as seriously as they should have. So I can completely understand why this made Romanian history.
Old right now.
Yeah. No, like, she was a baby. She was an actual baby. She still is. Yeah, she still is. But it's like, how could you, as a police officer, you are supposed to protect and serve. You are supposed to be there for your people. How could you not take it seriously?
They were in on it.
They were probably in on it. That's like, honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it.
Ever an investigation on the cops?
No. No, not at all. No cops were questioned. Honestly,
I don't know what the equivalent of the FBI in Romania is, but they need to get involved.
That's like one tricky thing about this case, is that I can say whatever I want, but like, I actually don't know what the system is like in Romania.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, like, we don't know.
So watch your mouth. I might come after you.
I love Romania, so it's okay.
Romanian FBI.
If they take me to Romanian jail, I'd be so happy with that. Well, not really, but like, just to be in Romania, you know what I'm saying?
They do have the Romanian Intelligence Service.
Oh. Alexis is not smart enough for that.
Oh my God, you're right. But like, why would you say that? I was so rude. So rude.
I mean,
And you know what? What? What are you gonna say, Kyan?
No, nothing. I'm just watching this unfold.
Okay. Well, you're listening to it unfold.
I stop unfolding it.
All right, onwards and upwards.
Okay.
Well,
now to continue. So for each of the girls, again, Alexandra and Luiza, shortly after each of their disappearances, the families had actually received phone calls from different men, basically just reassuring them that they were safe. There was phone calls made to Alexandra's mom, specifically after they found out that she was supposedly murdered. And they do believe that one of the phone calls was made by Dinka, Gorge again. And in this phone call, he said Alexandra as well, she got married and ran away to work abroad. And of course, being the mother, she was shocked. She was confused.
Was this man ever prosecuted?
Yes. He was. The thing with the prosecution is that they didn't have as much evidence. So basically it was all things that
the call is coming from within the house 3 times and we find teeth.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't good enough, if you know what I'm saying. He did pass away. He was 75 and it was
hopefully he's somewhere a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
But so the mother had received that call, and then they would also make the same phone calls to Luiza's family again back in April. But during the investigation, Dinka had claimed that he actually incinerated Alexandra's body. So that would make sense. They didn't find a body. But the thing was, of course, Dinka had neighbors, and these neighbors gave testimonies saying that they never saw smoke or smelled anything strange coming from his house. So, if he had incinerated her, it wouldn't have been in his house. It would have been somewhere elsewhere, but it would have taken approximately 8 hours. So it's highly unlikely, especially if he was trying to get away with this said murder. Yeah. It is highly unlikely that he did it elsewhere and that he even incinerated them,
I mean, I'm also going to just come out and say it's highly unlikely that he was working alone.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the agency that I had mentioned before, DCOT, they had referred to Alexandra and Luiza's case as murders. There's something strange about this because they addressed them as murders, but they didn't address them as kidnappings. It was never confirmed really that they are dead, yes, they found teeth, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are gone. They could have easily just taken out those teeth and planted them there, and
I hate this because now my mind is going in wild circles that they've been kidnapping young girls. They've been removing a couple teeth from them, using them as quote unquote evidence that they're dead, and then they're human trafficking these poor children.
Yeah. That's also another thing. They're made out to be seen as dead so that people stop looking for them, and it just makes the trafficking easier.
It sucks because it's it was never confirmed, and probably never will be confirmed, that they are truly dead or not, you know? Like,
yeah. Like, they could still be out there. It was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
not
long.
I can only imagine what the families are going through. Like, having
I wouldn't find it comforting at all getting a call from that man saying, hey, your daughter's alive and she got married and is working abroad.
Literally. Like, I don't know. It's just, these girls were so young, 15 and 18. Like, I can't even imagine what these families are still going through, you know? 5 years later, I bet they're still holding on to that hope. And I hope they are. I hope that they do find some evidence that they are still alive and that they are okay and that they are safe.
Is there any, like, record or documentation of, like, the families now?
No.
How they've dealt with it?
No.
Like, they haven't talked to the press or, like, media or anything like that?
They haven't really wanted to talk to the press just because they've been wanting to... Yeah. Of course. You know, like, wanting to grieve if they're grieving and just simply be spending time with family, you know? I bet they're still doing things on their own, just probably not documented, you know, for the public.
Do you know if she was a single child or if she had siblings?
To my knowledge, there was no, like, evidence saying that she was a sibling of another. So to my knowledge, she is a single child.
Okay.
Now, another thing is that Alexandra's uncle that I had mentioned earlier, Alexandru, he had actually allegedly obtained information relating to his niece's whereabouts. He revealed this information about a week after the kidnapping, and of course this required authorities to, like, take immediate action. So they did that, but one person that Alexandra had specifically reached out to as well was President Klaus Ioannis. And you guys want to know what his response was?
Yeah.
Not like we have a choice, but yes.
Quote.
It makes me nervous.
I will analyze. End quote. That's it.
Huh?
What?
I will analyze.
That's so cold.
It's not even a full sentence. I mean, it is, like...
Yeah, technically it is. But no,
I know.
It is a full
technically
sentence.
it is, but coming from a president...
Dude.
No,
I mean,
was like...
It is Romania.
Is he still the current president?
That's a good question.
How do presidents work in Romania?
Because if he is,
I didn't
we
do
need a
research on
follow-up.
that.
Have you analyzed? It's been 5 years.
Speaking of which, when he said, I will analyze, after Alexandra's plea, they still haven't addressed it to this day.
Yeah, okay. Time for a follow-up, Mr. President.
And he it's still president.
Yeah, perfect. Time for a follow-up. Next, what do they call it? Like media conference or whatever?
Media conference.
I don't know what they're called. What are they called? Press conference. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You got it.
Yeah.
Now,
I just want to raise my hand and be like, have you analyzed? That's it. That's
just go to Romania. Literally just go to Romania.
You should go.
And just talk. I should go. I'll go.
You won't go by yourself after this story.
Go to the
forest.
Yeah.
You should go to the Romanian forest. We should go to the Romanian forest.
Oh my god, Hasiu.
We should go to all the places in Romania.
We should. And we'll do like part twos to all of our episodes.
Yeah,
at our own findings.
We'll have videos.
Yeah. Check our YouTube.
Yes.
Please, I need you to go to Romania with me. This is mandatory. It's strictly business.
I mean, this is technically your second story in a row about Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. It's a thing I just noticed.
I felt it was appropriate because, Romania.
Fair.
That's all I need to say, really.
You just didn't want to, take a train or a plane anywhere else.
Yeah. Literally. Just take me to Romania.
Fair.
Romania and the Maldives. Anyways, back to the case.
Yes.
On July 27th, people took this case very tough, of course. Like it was heartbreaking, not only for the families, but for literally everyone. And so the reason why I say this made history in Romania is because over 2,500 people had protested in Bucharest. So a lot of people were against how the police department had handled the situation, understandably so. Oh God. Yeah. But
you would be protesting.
I would have. I honestly would have. I would have fully supported their decision. So after this, the newly appointed interior minister, his name was I'm going to butcher this so hard, Nicolae Moga, had officially dismissed the national police chief, Ioan Buda, the Olet County prefect, Petra Niasiu, the Olet County police chief, Christine Wojtkulescu. Sorry, I'm pronouncing this so bad. And after he had taken office, he had dismissed himself.
He what?
So he did all these acts, and he just quit.
Oh.
Okay.
And
sounds like he found something he wasn't proud of or okay with.
I don't know. It just, something seems so shady. Not only with like the police department, but with like everything else, like why are there so many connections to this case to the police department? Like why
Romania,
is this?
I want to see your receipts. Where are you getting your money from?
Valid, yeah.
Where is it coming from? Yeah.
No.
Someone needs to audit this country.
I'll do it.
No, you don't have the qualifications.
No, I got it. I'll get the qualifications.
Okay, that's fair.
Easy. In my sleep. Now, during this
we'll
time...
see about that.
Yeah, you will. You will. Give me a couple months. So the prime minister, during this time, he had also dismissed the minister of education, Ekaterina Andronescu, after he had made a remark saying, quote, "Young girls should know better than to get in cars with strangers," end quote.
Strangers should not kidnap little girls.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't do that. That's not
Don't
good.
do that.
Don't do that.
No, it was so... Literally, that quote made my blood boil. Because I was like, why do you expect these young girls to just, like, know that they're going to get kidnapped, Like, they're young girls.
15 years old.
They are very trusting,
The last thing going through their head is, I'm going to get human trafficked.
Literally.
At least I would say the average little girl would not think I'm going to get human trafficked.
And I get it. Like, we're taught now stranger danger. But, like...
In 2019, same thing. People got taught stranger danger. I think it goes a couple decades back.
But I don't know. I think if you grow up in an area that is safe and hitchhiking is pretty common.
I literally just came back to Mexico. It's so simple for people. I mean, we were driving a truck most of the time, and on our way to town, there's bumps everywhere. So we slowed down for a bump, and there's field workers, and they just hopped in the trunk, and we gave them a ride to town. It's no big deal in some parts of the world to just
Mhm.
give
Really, yeah.
strangers rides.
Yeah.
Oh my god, transportation in Mexico is, oh my god, beautiful, wonderful.
Okay, I wasn't sure where that was gonna go. I was like, it's
No,
one
we
or
need
two
it.
things.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I
you took
like
a
built
pause.
a-
You're like, transportation in Mexico.
No,
And you're
we
like,
need it here, dude.
I can't ride in the trunk here. In the truck.
It's
trunk.
so fun riding in the back, like, yeah, the back of a truck.
It is.
Yeah, that's the true
America.
way.
America.
No, step your game up, America.
In Hawaii, it's legal. So
Yo,
yeah,
we
every
need-
time I'm like in Hawaii, it's really fun to just ride in the back of the trucks.
it's nice.
Oh.
It's also because the speed limit is like max like 40 over there, because
Yeah.
they don't need to get anywhere fast.
You're in an island anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. I can actually comprehend that.
It's true. It's true.
So you were saying that history.
And like I said before, the public transportation was very insufficient. So it was really completely fine to hitchhike, you know?
Yeah.
I honestly still think it's fine to hitchhike. It's
Yeah.
just people are aware of the situation.
Well,
I can't trust that. I don't know. Isn't it like the statistic?
It's fine to hitchhike. You just need to be aware.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. Isn't this a statistic that there's anywhere from like 40 active serial killers in the United States at all times? Like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
really close to one serial killer per state.
Yeah.
yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
No.
Mhm.
'Cause he said 40, and I'm like, that's really close to 50. Like, really close
Yeah.
to one per state. And I'm like, I don't like that.
No,
Yeah.
me neither.
Not a good thing. No. Now, another thing. You guys remember how I brought up the name Lucien Gabriel Papascu?
Yes.
He was
'cause
the
that's
man on the
like name
business
kid would
card,
make up.
just to kind of like, go over it again. So he had actually came out and he had claimed that he only met Dinka once while working, but he doesn't actually know him. What kind of sucks. This poor
But
innocent
he just
man.
gave this card.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you're working and you're working, they were working in a local office, so like it's,
No,
hey,
I'm not
here's my
saying it's
business
a bad
card.
thing. I'm just like, he kind of just gave
Yeah.
a business card, and that's how his name ended up with the cops.
Yeah, but he and his family were very strongly affected by this. So like he ended up having to ask the press to not contact him.
That's what I was gonna say, because probably like the press and public. I mean, it was probably the only lead they had.
Yeah.
Especially after that man died.
Yeah. But the public had a very strong reaction to this, of course. And so that's how it really made Romanian history. So there's not many answers to this case. I think that's what really sucks about it the most, is that
You mean there's not a
as
single
much
answer?
Not really, no. Like the police won't give out that much information. Like I've literally explained throughout this case that
Hold on. Is it still an active case, or has it been like archived or closed?
Still technically active, but they're
That's
not.
why they're not giving information.
True.
They don't give out information.
Well, but
in active cases.
they've also withheld a lot of information as well.
It's an
like I
active
said.
case. That's the excuse they can use.
Yeah.
That's
what sucks. They
I'm
find
not saying it's right or
loopholes.
wrong, but I'm just like,
no, literally. But they find loopholes to make it so that it's not wrong. I guess I don't know, but another thing that I kind of wanted to go over a little bit.
You got time, right, listeners?
Yes, I do. I do have time. Sorry.
You want to hear more of Alexis talk about Romania?
I love Romania. What are you talking about? Romania is the best. But, like, not actually. Don't take my word for that, everyone.
I was going to be like, you literally just covered 2 cases in Romania.
Yeah.
I did 2 in Canada, so.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Canada is a lot more bigger than Romania.
That's true.
Romania is underrated.
That's why you're talking about it.
Yeah.
To bring it to light.
But, like I said, there's not that, unfortunately, there's not that much information on it. So, like, the case is still continuing, but there's no information that's being addressed or announced to the public, at least. I don't know if they're even proactively focusing on it right now. I don't really think it's their main focus to try to figure out what happened to these girls. But there wasn't, although there was a lot of evidence left behind, there wasn't any evidence actually taken into, I guess, consideration, at least on the police officer's end. And so, although there are a lot of different theories that we may have, like how they may have been human trafficked instead of murdered, or different things like that, we won't have an answer, at least not for a very long time, you know?
Yeah, of course.
And I do hope that the families do get some sort of clarity or like some sort of like answers that they need, anything that can lead them to these girls. I hope if the girls are still alive, which I hope they are,
I hope so too,
that they're safe and that they're okay and that they'll be able to make their way back to their families again. But that's all that I really have on this case. There's a lot of information, but a lot of information that's like also.
So as of February 2024, there's no updates.
Nope, no updates. Which really, really sucks. I can only imagine what happened.
Yeah, of course. And this was the story of?
This was the story of the kidnapping of Alexandra and Luiza.
In Romania.
In Romania. Thank you guys for listening to my story. If you have any questions.
Thank you for starting us off.
Yeah, you did great. I'm clapping. I don't know if you can hear it.
Nervous.
I think we might keep you in the front from now on.
Yeah.
I would like to attest to that.
Okay. Listeners, should we like rotate or like should we have like set like positions or like?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Tell us what
we
you
rotate
want.
the people that tell the stories, like in the order they tell them, but we always keep it the same: true crime, paranormal, bonus,
mystery. Yeah.
Let us know how you feel about the formatting of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have any feedback, anything that you want to hear in the future, we have our website for you guys to, put anything that you want on there. We're more than happy to do that for you. This is not only for us, but for you guys as well. So like, reach out with anything. We're
like, if there's a story that you want to know more of, but like you don't want to research it on your own, let us know. We'll research it for you. We'll tell you the story.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Or we won't because it's a podcast.
We're so famous that, we get so many.
No.
We're so amazing. Like, we're just.
Yeah, we are.
Like, we might just decide, you want us to tell that story? I guess we can tell you that story.
I won't.
No, but either Kai or I will. If your story doesn't take place in Romania, Alexis will not do it.
I won't. I refuse.
If you want her to do a story, send her something for Romania and she'll tell it.
Yeah, I'll do it. But anything outside of Romania, I refuse.
For now.
Okay. Well, that was my case. Thank you guys for listening, both of y'all and the listeners as well. But we are going to move on to Jay. Woo!
Pew, 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 pew. My case.
What do you got for us, Jay?
Your
You're paranormal,
case.
right?
I got for you a plague.
Ooh.
A plague. Whoa.
A plague?
Okay.
Now, it's not like one of the plagues that the deadly horsemen bring with them. Sorry to disappoint. We're not talking about them this time. So
What the heck?
So disappointed.
No, you're actually gonna say what the heck when I tell you what plague we're talking about. I don't even know how to tell you what we're talking about.
Okay.
I'm concerned.
Because I see the Word document right here, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We're talking about the dancing plague.
Oh.
I got that.
You got
the dancing plague,
I
Alexis?
got that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love.
What are the symptoms like? Boogie?
Doing the jazz hands. Did you say I boogie?
Yeah, like
I get down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But yeah, we're talking about the dancing plague. Now, when you hear dancing, you don't think of death. You just literally think of dancing.
Yeah. I think of the hoedown. Go on.
We're gonna take a quick pause.
No, we're good.
No, we're good? Okay.
We're good.
No, we're good. That was a while ago.
Yeah, I just realized that was a while ago. Anyway, dancing plague. When you hear of dancing, you don't think of death. You think of Footloose. You think of musicals. You think of dance class and breakdown. And High School Musical.
Footloose.
Okay. And any idea when the dancing plague took place? Or where?
The 70s in my backyard.
In Romania.
I'm not going to ask you where you think it was, Alexis. No, so the dancing plague, actually, it's not recent. I mean, otherwise you would have heard of it. It took place in 1518.
Whoa.
Over 500 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's older than me.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. So we're heading to Strasbourg, France.
Of course 1518.
We are. Oh, okay.
Hey, listen. Last week I was talking about Spain. This time we just moved to the neighbor.
You guys, I'm getting a lot about Romania, but are we going to discuss about how much Jay loves France?
No, we're not. Anyway, continue, Jay.
Yeah, we're going to. That's what this whole case is about. France. Anyway. So it's Strasbourg, France. The year is 1518, and we're in the town. The town at the time was part of the Holy Roman Empire. But nowadays, it's France, modern France. And we're going to talk about the only person that's actually named in this story. Love her or hate her, you're not going to hear about her later.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
What go on.
So, German housewife, Frau Trophia.
Whoa.
Now,
okay.
Frau simply means miss. We don't know her first name. So, we know her last name is Trophia. So, it's Miss Trophia.
Miss Trophia.
Trophia.
She's a German housewife.
Okay.
And what ended up happening was that Frau, I'm just going to call her Frau, Frau Trophia started dancing on July 14th on just a simple, narrow cobble street outside of, her home. She stepped outside and she began to dance for no apparent reason. Now, she ignored her husband's pleas to stop dancing, and she just simply continued dancing onto the evening. There was no music. There was no reason for it. It's like, records are not consistent, but one record says that they were walking down this, street or garden or park, and like the husband asked her to do something and she didn't want to do it, so she just started dancing.
Oh, valid.
She doesn't want to listen to her husband.
I would do the same.
So what ends up happening is that she starts dancing, and she dances well into the evening. But then her face is kind of like showing distress and pain. And as she continued dancing, she eventually collapsed. And she ended up just
Damn, she danced too hard.
Hours. Yeah, party central. She danced, for a long time, and then she passed out. She fell asleep for a few hours. And the next day, early in the morning, no food, no drinks, she was back out dancing. And her feet were swollen, bloody, and bruised.
Oh.
Yeah. So this little dancing spectacle, of Frau Trofia just dancing for no apparent reason, was not so lonely for too long, because within a single week, there was about 30 people that had joined her.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
So within 1 week, just 30 people decided to jump on and start dancing with her. And by the end of the month, how many people do you think were dancing with her?
100?
45.
400.
400.
Damn.
So
they were really having a party.
I'm telling you, yeah.
Yes.
So it went from one housewife at Atrofia to 30 people to around 400 people, reportedly just dancing uncontrollably. There was no music, just dancing. Now, of course, a week is going to happen with 30 people dancing. It turns into a month and there's 400 people dancing. The city council took notice of it. And of course, they don't know how to handle it. It's not a riot. It's not an invasion. It's not a plague. Technically it's a plague, but like, it's just dancing. So they didn't know how to handle it. And of course they were concerned because people's feet were bloody and blistered and like there was pain in their faces. So they were concerned and confused. The dancers were in obvious pain and also crying in agony. So it's not like
this was like fun.
It's kind of like they just jumped on it, but like they were in pain.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't all just fun and games and dancing and bloody feet, because as the summer carried on, depending where you look at the records, and I did not look through them because they're very old and I cannot read that ugly cursive. But the records say that up to 15 people were dying per day.
Whoa.
God damn.
So they were like passing out and they were dying. 15 per day. Average.
Yeah, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
So the city council talked to physicians. And of course, because all physicians, they ruled out astrological causes and supernatural causes.
How did they rule those out?
Yeah.
Good. I would love to know that. It was 500 years ago. I'm just like, you're a physician. Is this an astrological thing or a supernatural thing? No.
No. Okay.
Oh, God.
They ruled it was a case of hot blood.
Huh? What does that even mean?
No, it's a good thing that I did a little bit of digging into that, because I'm like, hot blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the term hot blood refers to a historical or like a historical medical concept that was rooted in the theory of the four humors or fluids, which dominate the framework of the human body, and the framework for understanding human health, disease. And it was very common in, during the Renaissance time to say that you have fluids and four different kinds. So according to this theory, the human body was governed by 4 humors or fluids. So these are the 4. There is blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile.
Mm-mm.
So that's what humans were made of.
Oh,
That-
God.
Out of those 4 things?
Well, I mean, those were the 4 things that rule the human body. Each
Okay.
humor, yeah. Each humor was associated with specific qualities of a person's health and temperament. That were believed to kind of like help the balance or imbalance of those humors. So blood symbolizes air, spring, warm, and moist.
Oh.
And blood was associated with a sanguine temperament characterized by qualities such as cheerfulness, optimism, and predispositions to blood-related conditions. Now, if you had an excess of blood, it was thought that it would be the result of it was thought to result in sanguine excess, so leading to an overly enthusiastic and impulsive temperament. Now, phlegm's the second one. That one symbolizes water, winter, cold, and moist. And phlegm was linked to let's see if I say this right. I completely forgot. Phlegmatic temperament. I think that's right.
Okay.
And it was marked by calmness, reliability, and a passive demeanor.
Okay.
And overabundance of phlegm could lead to lethargy, and a lack of motivation. Now there's also black bile, and that symbolizes earth, autumn, cold, and dry. Now black bile was connected to melancholic temperament associated with introspection, seriousness, and a predisposition to melancholy, English, hard.
Melancholy?
Melancholy or depression. So if you had an excessive amount of black bile, it was thought to cause overly melancholy, what Alexa said.
Melancholy.
And last but not least, yellow bile. So that one symbolizes fire, summer, warm, and dry. And yellow bile was related to a choleric temperament, characterized by ambition, energy, and irritability. What Alexis is going to say.
Irritability?
Thank you. English is not my first
language. Knew I was going to say
it. Because you're an English major in another world.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say.
I was like, what? No, she's not.
No. English isn't even my first language.
I know. Anyway.
Go on.
Yes. So yellow bile. So an excess of yellow bile could result in aggression or short temperament. So technically it's like you have this 4 different fluids in your body and like you got to keep them balanced. Otherwise, like something's going to go wrong. Like it's your attitude. Like you got too much blood or something.
It almost like, I don't know why, but this like kind of reminds me of like Divergent in a way. I don't know. Like the different kind of, I don't know why. Like the different vials or like the different liquids causing different emotions. Like they have this. Anyways, go on.
No, you're good. Keep going. Tell me.
No, because in the movie or in the book, for anybody who did either, there's these little things each, we'll call them sections. I forgot what they're called. They have like these vials of liquids that can make you either be honest or you can be kind or you can be smart, you know, the different personality traits, but they're all in one.
Okay. No, that's
Okay,
fair.
no, okay, just go on.
Okay. You said it better in your head.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, you're good. Okay, so I was saying that the physicians ruled the case of people dancing as hot blood, and hot blood was thought to lead to a range of different symptoms and behaviors, including an overly sanguine temperament characterized by optimism, passion, and in some interpretations, what the heck is this word? Oh, erratic behavior. Why? Oh, it's because it was cutting it off. Erratic or excessive behaviors. Now, there's a cure for hot blood, quote unquote cure. This was the medieval times. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
it was bloodletting.
Oh, that's not good.
Because you have an excess of hot blood, so let's get rid of some of that hot blood.
oh gosh.
I don't want the dancing plague anymore.
No. So this is a situation. So that's what normally would be the cure for hot blood, but since people couldn't voluntarily stop moving, the city council, they resorted to something else. What do you think it was? What do you think they prescribed?
Drugs.
What did you say, Ty?
They were crazy back then. They could have prescribed literally anything.
Okay,
Romania.
so their people are just dancing. They prescribed more dancing.
What?
Yeah.
So like,
So
negative
this said, you know what? We're gonna prescribe more dancing to hopefully burn them out.
What?
So they were hoping that by prescribing more dancing, they would be able to burn the people out, and like eventually it would stop dancing.
Okay, and they'd get it all out of their system, type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's what they were kind of like hoping for. So they opened up guild halls. They made wooden stages. They also hired a band to play.
Wow. They got a concert. They got live music.
Yeah. So as people continued dancing, of course, people were passing out. I don't know why, but as people started to pass out, the musicians started to play their music faster.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Which
they're
kind of
like,
just
they're going down.
Yeah. Now, the strange and relentless dancing continued for days, with some participants like dancing to their deaths from exhaustions, strokes, or heart attacks.
Wow.
Wow.
The dog says, "Wow, wow."
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Now,
Dude, this whole dancing plague thing is kind of
scary.
Kind of scary, but like cool, if that's appropriate to say.
Scary cool.
Yeah, so what's so interesting is like people didn't know if it was contagious or not, because like that was their theory at first, because people started dancing and that, but it turns out that there's records of some people joining into dance, and then like they would go on with it. So some were like with swollen feet, passing out and dying. Other people were just like partaking in the dance. So like, who was actually afflicted by whatever was happening?
Yeah.
Now,
versus them just wanting to dance or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when like they bring music and open up guild halls and all that stuff. Now, the event was going on for months and months at a time. So the city authorities, like, and the region, like everyone was taking note of. And they, couldn't find a cure for whatever was causing this. So when more dancing didn't work, they did like Footloose, and they banned all dancing.
No way.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's like the original Footloose here, or if there was a case before, but they banned all dancing.
Wow.
Now, there was a fine if you were caught dancing, and
What?
they would charge people 30 shillings if they were caught dancing.
30 shillings.
Yeah. Now, I was like literally trying to figure out how to convert shillings into money nowadays, and I'm just like, how do I do this?
How do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably did something. That's probably not right, but we'll see. So 30 shillings, most of the time they were made of silver,
Mhm.
but it all depends on like the purity of the silver and if they haven't been clipped. But 30 perfect shillings, they're about 17.5 grams per shilling, for a total of 525 grams of silver. Now, I'm just trying to figure out how much silver is worth nowadays. So 1 gram of silver nowadays is worth 85 cents. And for
Okay.
525 grams of silver, that would be worth about $446 with 25 cents.
That's wow.
So 30 shillings is about $450.
Wow.
Okay, so like a decent fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, close to like $500.
Yeah.
It took place in France, so then I transferred it to euros, which is 412 euros. But it's
Could
still
you imagine like
a money.
Do you imagine like dancing and then like just getting fined almost $500 simply for just moving and grooving?
I mean, I assume that when they implemented this, the people that were willingly joining stopped willingly joining, and the only people dancing were the ones that could not stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
guys.
this is
I have an illness called the dancing plague.
I got a doctor's
Oh my
note.
god, I'm so sorry.
This-
That's how I'm gonna call out
That
tomorrow. I've got the
There's-
dancing plague. I can't come in.
I can't cover it because technically you wouldn't be able to drive.
Yeah, exactly. I'd just be
That's
dancing
so
in my
true.
car and cause like an accident.
Exactly. And then you get out of your car and start dancing during the accident. Oh my god. So during this whole time, the town started to believe that, they were cursed.
Yeah.
So the town started to do everything they could to like maybe like cleanse themselves for their sins or whatever was causing the curse. So they tore down those wooden stages. They closed gambling houses. They closed brothels. And the prostitutes were kicked out of town.
Those
So-
poor prostitutes.
What was that?
Those poor prostitutes.
It's not their fault. They weren't apparently. If they got kicked out, they weren't dancing, so it wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
And some story. This is where like I couldn't find it, but I heard it somewhere. So take this with a grain of salt. But the town even donated. Take this with a grain of salt or a handful.
Okay.
100-pound candle to the cathedral.
Wow. What? How do you even create a candle that large?
You get to a
Literally.
lot of candle makers. I literally put like the thinking emoji next to that like 100-pound candle because I'm just like, records vary on that. So I'm not sure if they did or not, but apparently that wasn't enough. Eventually the
Yeah.
city's strategy, what am I saying? Not tragedy. I'm trying to combine strategy with tragedy. The city's strategy shifted towards seeking more of divine intervention for relief. So the people that were suffering from the dancing plague, they were taken on a pilgrimage to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus, who was, and the shrine was located in a nearby mountain. Now,
Just a shrine there.
Damn.
do you know anything of Saint Vitus?
No, I don't.
Neither did I. And I was like, and not many of the podcasts and like places I read talked about him. So I had to like do some side research on him. So Saint Vitus was usually invoked because of his association with dancing disorders like epilepsy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was common to attribute health conditions to the supernatural causes, or to divine punishment.
Mm-hmm.
And saints were often invoked for protection against specific ailments. Some of them are still done to this day.
Yeah.
Now, there was also a thing known as Saint Vitus dance. This was a term that was applied to several conditions that just cause involuntary movements. Nowadays, we know that it's actually known as, let's see if I can say this, Sidenhas cornea. So now we kind of know what Saint Vitus's dance was back in the day. I mean, it's kind of like an umbrella term, like a lot of things fall under that.
Yeah.
There was the belief that invoking Saint Vitus or making a pilgrimage to the shrine dedicated to him could cure or mitigate the disease. However, this disease is not contagious.
Yeah.
So it was ruled out that was what caused the dancing plague. The disease is actually a neurological disorder that typically occurs when you have a high fever or from a streptococcus bacteria,
mm-hmm.
or you have what's that other freaking fever called? I wrote
There's lots of fevers.
I know. Where is it? Blah, 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 blah. Not that. Oh, a scarlet fever.
Oh, okay.
So technically, even nowadays, if you get a scarlet fever, which is caused by this a group A streptococcus bacteria, and you're not treated properly for it, you can start to develop some of the symptoms that are characterized by rapid involuntary movements of the face, limbs, and muscle weakness, and emotional instability.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's sort of an actual kind of scientific explanation behind it.
Well, just to this disease itself, not to the actual dancing plague.
Yeah.
This is nowadays what we consider the Saint Vitus dance, but the Saint Vitus dance wasn't what was affecting the people with the dancing plague.
Uh-huh.
Because there was another condition known as Saint Vitus dance. Nowadays, we know that it was caused by that scarlet fever symptoms if they were not treated well. But it wasn't the dancing plague. There was lots of theories of what the dancing plague was. But none of them stick to nowadays, which is, 500 years ago. I believe it's going to be a little hard to have something that people can agree on.
It definitely will be, yeah. Okay.
I thought I muted myself.
Don't get the dancing plague.
Now, Saint Vitus, also known as Vitus in English, is a venerated. What am I saying? Hold on. What am I reading now? Oh, I'm trying to tell you his legend. I'm trying to tell you who he was. So he was of Sicilian origin. He was a Christian of Sicilian origin, who died as a martyr. During the early Christian persecutions. So according to tradition, Saint Vitus was the son of a Sicilian senator. His name was Hylas. And he converted to Christianity from a young age. And he was known for his miracles, including healing people and casting out demons. Now, during times of persecution, he was subjected to various tortures, included being thrown into a boiling pot of oil.
Damn!
Wow.
But,
That's painful.
Yeah.
He emerged unscathed. You just threw him in water, according to legend.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, Vitas, along with his tutor Modestus and his nurse, I like her name. Hold on, I want to say her name right. Crescentia, who were also Christians, they were also martyred. So, Saint Vitus's feast day nowadays is celebrated on June 15 in the Roman Catholic Church, and on June 28th in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Now, Saint Vitus became one of the 14 Holy Helpers, which is a group of saints venerated together in Roman Catholicism because of their intersection was believed to be. Was believed to be because their intersection was believed to be particularly effective, especially against like various diseases, because he was considered so he was the patron saint of dancers, actors, comedians, and epileptics.
That's such interesting things to be a patron saint of.
Yeah, dancers, actors, comedians, and epileptics.
Epilepsy. That should be your patron saint, Alexis.
Yeah, you should. I'm gonna get on that. Don't worry.
Hold on, listen. So over the centuries, the cult, not like an actual cult, it's what they used to tell like religion and like church and all that stuff. Now it has a different meaning. But the cult of Saint Vitus spread through Europe, and his relics were said to have been transported to various locations, including, and this is where I get excited because I'm like, oh, the more you know, Saint Denis in Paris, and the Abbey of St. Vitus in Prague, which is in the Czech Republic. So the two places I want to visit both have artifacts of Vitus.
I can't believe you.
Honestly, like, I did not search for this. It kind of just came up on its own. So now I know where I want to go next time I travel there.
So true.
Yeah. But they went on a pilgrimage to St. Vitus, and sorry, I just gave you a history lesson of who he was and like religion.
It's okay.
But I'm just like, I don't want you to just be like, they went to some random shrine and like this happened. No, so that's why they were going there, because they thought that St. Vitus might be able to either help with the plague or he caused the plague, so they have to go repent and he will take the curse away.
That's just so funny to me. I don't know.
Oh, and it's so interesting because depending on where I went, some people believe that Saint Vitus caused the dancing plague, and some people think that Saint Vitus did not cause it, but that he cured it. So, remember how I talked about Frau Trophia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so very little is known about her.
Okay.
What we have on record is that she started dancing, people joined her, and a couple days after she started dancing, she danced away. She like left town, and she made her way to the St. Vitus shrine. But as soon as she makes it there, like, we got no more records of her. Whether she was cured or not, whether she died on the doorstep, or like whether she continued like dancing in and out. Like, yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Like the historical records don't provide much detail about like her identity, background, or like the aftermath of her actions.
Yeah, this was 1518, right? So like not much of anything.
Yeah, you got it. 18. Yeah. So there was multiple theories of what caused the dancing plague. One theory was it was toxic mold that grows on damp rye that was used for bread at the time that can cause hallucinations or convulsions. But everyone seemed to dance like, not, I wouldn't say like unison, but like they knew that they were dancing. Like it looked like dancing, not like convulsions.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like you were walking down the street and you see people getting like epileptic attacks. Like they were like dancing.
Yeah.
Like they were not dropping to the floor and shaking. Like they were dancing. They would pass out.
And there's a clear distinction, you know?
Yeah. So there was really there was a theory that it was like mass hysteria, or like stress-induced psychosis, but like none of them really make sense.
Yeah.
Now, that's all I got for you on the dancing plague of 1518. But I just want to let you know that this was not the only dancing plague that happened in the world.
No way.
What?
Yeah. So this was this dancing plague in 1518. There was 2 records of dancing plagues that happened before this dancing plague. So in Aachen, I think that's what it's called, Germany, in 1374. So in 1374, it's one of the earliest and most well documented instances of dancing mania. It quickly spread to France, Italy, and the Netherlands, with the participants claiming to be possessed by spirits, or in trance-like states, dancing uncontrollably through the streets. So that was like one of the earliest and like the most well-recorded cases of like the quote-unquote dancing plague.
1374. That is insane.
Like people existed back then?
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now
God.
there's also another case in Germany. I'm not gonna pronounce them right, but it's like Erfurt and Goldbeck, Germany, in 1237 and
Nice,
1247. So 10 years apart from each other, 1237, 1247. And then in this cases, groups of children were reported to have danced uncontrollably. Kind of like, like the Pied Piper situation.
Yeah.
It was, in this situation, it was just children. Yeah. The incident in Erfurt saw a group of children dance all the way to the other town, to Arnstadt, which was about 20 kilometers away.
Oh my God.
So
the kids just dance from one town to another one.
You're just like, I'm just picturing in my head, they're just like line dance. They're like in a line, just making their way over to the next town.
If they had line dancing back in the day, oh my God. Now I can see that too as well, though. Now, there was also a few more incidents of another dancing plague after 1518.
There's so many.
That's what's crazy about this. Like, it's not the first one, and it's clearly not the last one. It's so people are like, what's causing this? It's like, what's happening?
We might still, future dancing plague.
Honestly,
we got to get ready.
I was like doing this research. I'm like, when's the next one? In my head, I'm just like, and will it be?
It's like how California is like due for another earthquake. It's like we're due for another dancing plague as well.
2024.
Don't worry.
Like, here we come.
No, okay. Okay. 2020, right? It was presidential election, Biden versus Trump, and then we had COVID.
Yeah.
This year, it's 2024. It's Biden versus Trump, but we're missing a pandemic. We're missing a plague. Who knows? We're gonna get the dancing plague.
Yo, someone please tie me down to my bed if this happens. I am not gonna have blistered feet and bloody feet. I will do the Macarena.
Anyone see how bad I look dancing?
I will do the Macarena. That's it. But yeah, so there was another case in Germany again.
Wow.
Magdeburg, Germany, and Strasbourg, France. So this was in 1537 and 1551. This were smaller outbreaks, not 400 plus people. 400 in the month. After a month, it was clearly more than 400. But this were smaller outbreaks that were recorded in the areas, showing that the phenomenon didn't entirely disappear from the Strasbourg event because it came back.
Yeah.
And then later in Italy, and it happened for quite a while in Italy, from the 15th century all the way to the 17th centuries.
Such a
so
long
for like
time.
200 years, there was several instances of like just dancing, like a similar phenomenon where individuals just dance supposedly to cure, the cure was the bite of a tarantula. Yeah, so
Humans are so weird.
Yeah.
so that's the dancing plague for you.
Yeah.
As I was doing all this, and I literally thought, I was like, we're due for another dancing plague. I'm like, what if it like already kind of started, but just didn't take off?
It's all the TikTok dancers. Yeah.
Do you remember like a couple years back on TikTok how there was like the Serbian dancing lady?
Yeah.
What?
What if
Yeah,
that-
you don't know where it's like,
No.
it's like she's like on her tippy toes and she's like going left and right and she's like moving her arms.
No.
It's like a very simple like type of dance she's doing. It's not like break dance or intense. It's simple.
Yeah,
It's like-
TikTokers do it now.
So we'll send it to you. But
Okay,
it's
yeah,
like
definitely.
it was, or like, yeah. And then like after we send it to you, do some more research on it just on TikTok and see like the crazy stories about it. Because of course there was like parodies done and all that stuff after. But I'm like, what if that was kind of like the start of the dancing plague? Like just a single lady, you know, like Fratrovia out there dancing. And then within a week you get 30 people to join you and do the same thing. Clearly people didn't join and didn't catch up. But
Yeah.
there was, I don't know if there was records or it was like a tale or not because this dancing plague was 500 years ago. But the 30 people-ish that started dancing, like if you came up to them, they would like go up to you and they would, not that it wouldn't go up to you, but they would try to convince you to like join and dance with them. And that if you didn't, they would get like angry or like a little bit violent and like push you away or shove you things. But there's no clear record of that.
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't
we're
really
like-
expect there to be.
Yeah.
500 years ago, you know.
Anyway, that was the dancing plague. We don't have a horseman for this plague.
Ooh, we're dancing. Thank you for
That's
sharing.
A horse of the apocalypse for the dancing plague.
I'm so excited.
That's like I'm gonna like dance my way into heaven, hell, the afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing, whatever's there, you know.
Yeah.
Dancing plague. And remember, if you have the urge to dance, don't.
Resist.
$500
It might not end well.
Yeah, you might get a $500 fine.
I don't got that kind of money to just give up.
No,
Not for dancing.
That's the real reason why I don't dance.
that's
Fine.
it's so true.
Not
Yeah,
gonna risk
yeah.
it. You don't want to risk dancing and not stopping.
Nope.
It's scary.
I don't have the endurance for that.
Hey, if you don't have a fear for dancing, now you do.
Wonder if that's like an actual phobia, like fear of dancing.
Oh, that's a good question. I would imagine.
Um,
I wouldn't
there's
think it'd be like a super.
Phobias of the color yellow, so I would honestly.
They just have
Agoraphobia,
What is it
Yeah.
called?
defined as an irrational fear of dancing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't.
there's a phobia of a duck watching you.
Alexis,
I have
stop
that.
it.
I have that.
I'm gonna get a duck and I'm gonna make it watch you.
What?
I don't think you can force a duck to do anything.
I can. I am the duck.
I used to want ducks when I was younger.
I had
Still do.
Pets, pet ducks.
Okay,
You
well I
still do.
don't, but like no, but I do, but I don't.
I had geese and then I ate them.
You ate them.
What?
Not my choice. It was my mother.
Oh, those poor geese.
Yeah.
No,
They were.
literally.
Were they tasty at least?
I would imagine so because I ate all the soup.
Wow.
I mean, I've heard duck is like not bad,
I look.
but like
tells me
gamey.
Duck is really good if you. I'm thinking of frog raw. I'm thinking French duck. But duck is really good.
I've heard it tastes like
Let's do a
chicken.
French restaurant and try duck.
Can we try escargot?
Honestly, escargot.
I will eat the escargot any day.
I want to like eat like eat like a spider or something. I don't know.
It's
You know how
doable.
like in some like Asian countries with like the street foods and they have like the big skewers with just a bunch of like fried spiders on them or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
This time when I went to Mexico, I had some crickets again, and I'm just like, they're good.
Nice.
I've had
So,
crickets. I've had cockroaches.
What did you say?
I've had crickets and cockroaches.
Girl, it doesn't count when they crawl in your mouth in the middle of the night.
So true.
Playing with you, but
Anyways,
Yeah,
I do
that's-
have our third and final case given by the wonderful Kai Kelly. Okay, this
Thank
is
you
where
for the
you're
introduction. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
we'll put a little bit of like a curtain opening and like people's laughter.
Yeah. All right. So, for my story today, we're going to be traveling to the beautiful state of West Virginia. Out to mama.
I
Take
thought
me.
you were
Okay.
Hawaii.
No, maybe I'll cover something at a later time. Yeah,
fair.
so West
got
Virginia. Now, surprisingly, there are lots of strange occurrences that have happened over the years in West Virginia, and I'll talk about a couple of them today. So, in the dark of night, in the town of Flatwoods, West Virginia, on the evening of September 12th, 1952, 7:15 p.m. to be exact,
Whoa.
there were three children, 13-year-old Edward May, 12-year-old Freddie May, and 10-year-old Tommy Heyer. They were playing football outside of Flatwoods Elementary School when suddenly they noticed a bright light flashing and streaking its way across the sky. That bright light had seemingly crashed into a hill nearby on a farm. So these kids looked up and they saw this bright flashing light and they were like, what the heck is this? So of course, startled, excited, scared, the boys, they ran over to the May family's home and they told their mom, Kathleen May, what they had seen. So, of course, Kathleen, Mrs. May, she, jumps into action. She gets into her protective mode. She gathers her boys as well as a couple of other local children, Neil Nunley and Ronnie Shaver, and also a National Guardsman, West Virginia National Guardsman. His name's Eugene Lemon. And so the group of them, they all made their way over to the farm to go investigate. Now, on this journey, some accounts do say that they even brought a dog along with them, but that's not quite confirmed. But this group made their way over to the farm. They eventually reached the hill and the site of the crash. And
they had a dog or not have a dog.
Yeah, so we're not too sure. Some accounts of the story do say they did, some don't. But yeah, they made their way over to the crash site. Once they got there, that's when they saw a pulsing red light just emanating from that crash site. They were spooked by it. It was almost like up in the trees. They didn't really know what it was. But Lemon, the National Guardsman, he pointed his flashlight up the hill, and that's when the group witnessed a 10 to 12 foot tall, almost humanoid figure with its round head surrounded by a hood shaped like a spade, and it was wearing a dark metal, almost dress, is what it's described as.
Okay, but real quick, was the officer's name Lemon?
Yes.
I knew you were gonna comment on that.
Eugene Lemon, yes.
Sick name though.
Cool. Okay, now back to whatever that figure was.
Yeah, 10 to 12 foot tall?
This tall, 10 to 12 foot tall humanoid figure. It had like a spade shaped head, like a spade on a deck of cards. And it was almost like metallic, its body. Now, this creature had small, twisted, claw-like hands that protruded out of the front of its body. People don't really think it had arms. It had just these claws that were coming out front of it. Some people even describe it as having like a red face and wearing green clothes. It also had orange glowing eyes. Sorry.
Keep going. No. Keep going. I think I've heard it before, but I don't know the name.
Yeah, and it had orange glowing eyes that were just seemingly staring directly at that group. Now, that's not the only thing that they noticed. When they walked up to the hill, the crash site, they noticed a pungent mist around them, and it almost had a putrid, like metallic, rotten scent. Some accounts of the story do say that this kind of scent induced some nausea in them, and even for a few days after, they could have, they felt symptoms of like their dry throat or dizziness or other things like that. It's not quite confirmed. But after they had got there and they reacted to this figure, it was levitating off of the ground. The creature glided toward the group, which made Eugene Lemon scream. He dropped his flashlight, and the group ran away to safety.
What year was this again?
1952.
Yeah, everyone's gonna freak out.
Yeah.
Valid.
This creature, it goes by many names, actually. It's called the Flatwoods Monster, the Braxton County Monster, Braxy, the Phantom of the Flatwoods, and even the Green Monster because of its green clothes. But after this one sighting here tonight, the creature was never seen again. But yeah, I really like Braxy. I think Braxy's kind of cute.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
So, it's kind of interesting looking at pictures of this because there have been mock-ups, like artists that draw on pictures, and it's just so funny. Like it's kind of creepy, but I don't know. I'll send you guys some pictures in a bit, but yeah. So they saw this thing in the hill. It was the dead of night in the dark in that forest. They must have been terrified seeing this thing. That's why they ran away.
Yeah,
that's so odd though, because the claws and people were sick after this, right? For a while.
That's what some recounts of the story do say. It's not fully confirmed, but yeah.
Makes me think of radioactivity.
Those symptoms though of scratchy throat, hard breathing, dizziness, nausea, those are actually all kind of symptoms of mustard gas. So, some people think that, yes, some people think that could have been a mustard gas, something that was released, and that kind of works its way into people thinking it could have been a government conspiracy or something like that. So this was really the only sighting of this monster. But after that group ran away, Mrs. May and Lemon, the National Guardsmen, they reached out to the local authorities. The police searched the area that night, and they claimed to find nothing whatsoever. The state police were notified, of course, and they laughed at the story. They just called it hysteria. So nobody really took it seriously. But this story did, of course, make the local news. It moved on to the national radio. Newspapers all over the country covered it. And then the Air Force even did a UFO investigation on the area, but they didn't really come up with any findings.
And the kids were the first ones to see this, right? When it fell.
Yes. So they were the first and only people to see it at the sites, but multiple people did see that fireball in the sky.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So after
said it was a weather balloon.
No, literally. So after more investigations, lots of people currently, the theories sort of say that they believe that the flashing light in the sky was just a meteor. I think it's on record that night, September 12th, there was a meteor that could be seen like flying through like Wyoming, Illinois, and West Virginia. So it very well could have been just a meteor. They say the red light that was flashing on the ground at the crash site could have just been like an aircraft, like navigation beacon there. But also kind of funnily enough, a lot of people think that creature could have just been a startled barn owl that was perched in the tree.
10 to 12 foot tall.
No, but it kind of makes sense because the spade shaped head, like in the way that like how an owl's head kind of looks. And they said that like the shadows that were cast around the owl as well, like mixed with the panic just from the group, it could have made it look like it was a much larger humanoid figure that was there.
Okay.
I don't know. People think this might have been a hoax or just to do a little scare. And at the time it was very easy to, because 1952 was the midst of the Cold War. Everyone was on edge thinking, what would happen with Russia. So it was really easy to scare some people, really easy to prank them. But that also maybe puts a little more, I don't know, validity into like the mustard gas theory type of thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I'm not too sure how much I believe that. So that was really the only like sighting of the Flatwoods monster. But sort of later on, there was like another sighting of a creature that was similar to this description, but not quite, reported by a lady named Audra Harper. And so this sighting was reportedly seen like before the crash and the first sighting that I just talked about. Audra said she, claimed to see the monster while she was walking through the woods near her house, and that they noticed like a ball of fire on one of the hills that they were passing. They just assumed that it was like a neighbor fox chasing. But Audra like glanced back at it, the fire had vanished, and then in its place there was a tall, dark silhouette of a man-shaped figure. Of course, Audra and her friends she was with like ran away. They were terrified. So there's been other like similar sightings, but nothing quite of the same caliber of this one of the Flatwoods.
It was seen once and never again. And then what is it called? Like versions or varieties of something similar.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
It had children. That's what they are.
Yeah. No, literally. They were like all 12 and under who originally saw it. But I mean, there was Eugene Lemon, the National Guardsman. He was only 17. So he was also a kid. The only adult there was the mom, Mrs. May. So, who knows what she could have really seen.
How many kids did the mom have?
She only had 2. She had Ed and Freddie. Edward and Freddie.
That's too many for her.
The story is it's so funny because she brought Edward, Freddie, their friend Tommy they were playing with, and she also gathered 2 other kids from the neighborhood to bring with her on the group.
That's what I was asking, because you said she brought other kids, and I'm like, wait, so how many of them are her kids?
Yeah, so there was 7 of them. Yeah, I know. And the reason why I said some like recounts of it tell the story of a dog being there with them, it's because it's been said that like the dog died because of the
mustard
mist.
gas.
Yeah, the mist and things that were around. But that's really not confirmed at all.
I hope it's not true.
Me too. So the Flatwoods monster, though, has now become like a local legend in Flatwoods, West Virginia. Their welcome sign to their city says "Home of the Green Monster." So like they've like taken pride in it essentially. Yeah. They have an annual festival called Flatwoods Days, and so like they commemorate the legend of the Flatwoods monster. They even have a Flatwoods Monster Museum. Which we should definitely go to. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
mean, no one got attacked by it, so
no. Yeah. It was just
I'd be okay with that.
Is it really a monster then?
I mean,
I don't
we're
know.
humans. We label everything we don't understand as a monster.
It honestly kind of looks like something from like an old like computer game, like I don't know. I guess like Wizards 101 comes to mind or something like that, or
Dude, did you play that as
like a
well, Kai?
Roblox character. Yeah.
Yo, okay, we're gonna play together sometime.
Okay.
I still have my account.
Cool.
That's crazy.
So that's not where the monsters end in West Virginia, though. So perhaps a more well-known creature in West Virginia, found just 2 hours east of the Flatwoods Monster in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, is the Mothman. Have you guys heard of the Mothman?
Man.
Yeah,
I have heard of this man.
Yes. I have. I would say I have seen, but I mean, like online, I have seen pictures of the Mothman. I have seen plushes of the Mothman. I have seen tattoos of the Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get a tattoo of the Mothman.
So the Mothman has become like crazy popular, you know. Yeah, the Mothman is another humanoid creature that was reportedly seen about 26 times from November of 1966 to December of 1967. So
holy crap.
So yeah, 26 times over the span of a year.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a lot of sightings. Like, not a lot of them have been fully detailed, but they're like little reports from people over that year. So I guess the first major sighting of it, first documented at least, was on November 15th of 1966. So 2 couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mellette, they were driving together down the road when they had reportedly seen a large, dark humanoid figure with glowing red eyes standing on the side of the road.
What?
So Linda, she described it as being a slender, muscular man who was about 7 feet tall with white 10-foot wings, and its eyes having a hypnotic effect. So she couldn't really distinguish its facial features or anything like that. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Like, that would be so trippy. Yeah, like the glowing effect. I don't know. Kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it is kind of
cool. So yeah, the couples like quickly like sped away. They drove away as fast as they could, but the creature actually was said to have flown after them. It started pursuing them, and it was making a loud screeching sound as it flew. And it followed them as far as like the city limits. So it followed them for a while before it finally let up.
That's scary, though.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that something is flying behind you, like, as you're driving away from it for so long.
No, seriously. Yeah. After this sighting from the couples, like the Mothman, he would be seen many more times. Like I said, 26 times over that year. People were reporting similar sightings left and right. There were firefighters from Point Pleasant that described it as a large bird with red eyes. The sheriff actually blamed the sightings on just like a large heron bird that was flying throughout the city. But then also totally a bird, yeah. So there's also a contractor in that city, though. He had claimed in Point Pleasant, he claimed that the Mothman was responsible for buzzing noises coming from his TV set.
No, sir,
but also,
that's old TV.
That's just your TV, man. But
don't
also,
blame Mothman for your TV.
Just get a new TV. Like put the antennas properly. You probably didn't set them up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, he said that the Mothman was responsible for the disappearance of his German Shepherd. So, the Mothman even was stealing dogs, apparently.
That is a big dog.
There's a big dog, but they're also curious dogs, and they could have just ran away.
Or because the Mothman saw a dog with like 7 kids, he thought, I like that animal. he saw the German Shepherd and he's like, I'm gonna take it.
Maybe he did, actually. He needed a friend. He
was welcomed by like a teacher, a 15-year-old kid, and like 7 kids. Not a teacher, a mom. And then a dog. And the dog was the friendliest of all.
Yeah, so he was just like, actually, I'm pretty lonely out here. People hate me for no reason.
So true.
I needed a friend.
He's misunderstood.
He really is. He's just like me for real. Anyway. So it was like later said and kind of, it was kind of later said that the creature was just a big sandhill crane. So it's like a really big bird that fits the description of the Mothman, but it's not native to like West Point or Pleasant Point, Virginia, or really that area. So, like scientists or whatever think it could have just migrated away from its native places. And since it was completely unfamiliar to the people in Virginia, they just saw it as this like creepy Mothman cryptid. So I'm not sure. But yeah, over that year, there were, a lot of sightings. But the last sort of sighting of this Mothman happened on December 15th, 1967. There was a bridge in Point Pleasant called the Silver Bridge, and it actually had collapsed. It killed 46 people in that collapse. So it was catastrophic. Yeah. And people kind of like blamed the Mothman for it. Like it was said that the Mothman was seen sort of to be connected to the collapse of that bridge. But then from that day on, there were never any more sightings of the Mothman.
Stop blaming him.
It's because he was so sad that people would think of him that way.
Yeah, he heard the blame and he decided to fly away.
Yeah, they shamed him out of the city.
I would have done the same if I were him.
Dare they?
So like you mentioned earlier, you've seen like, statues and shirts and plushies of him. Like, yeah, he's become super popular. In Point Pleasant, they have a Mothman statue that they've put up. They kind of take a lot of pride in this guy. And it's so funny because like West Virginia, you guys really like your monsters.
Yeah.
I wish we had monsters like that here.
We have one in Tahoe.
Well, not in California.
Well, Lake Tahoe is in California.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry.
It's like half in California, half in Nevada.
Yeah.
Remember, she's not a geography major. She's an English major.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm an English major.
In another world.
In another world.
But wait, there's more.
If you call right now, you'll get 3 for 1.
FREE, that spells free.
That's free. Creditreport.com, baby.
Okay, don't sue us. So there's another little guy I do want to talk about, and I do mean little. His name is Bat Boy.
Bat Boy.
Wait,
yeah. And we're still in the same state?
We're still in West Virginia. Yep. We're a few more hours east.
Boy?
Huh?
I want to know more about Bat Boy.
Yeah. So the first reporting of Bat Boy was on June 23rd, 1992. Bat Boy was said to be discovered in a previously uncharted cave it's closer to the eastern or the southeastern border of West Virginia. Some stories say that he was found in a cave next to Seneca Rocks, West Virginia, which is more east. But it seems more commonly recognized that the Lost World Caverns are the home of Bat Boy. And so the Lost World Caverns are closer towards the southeast kind of border of West Virginia. But it's said that that's his home, the Lost World Caverns. I'm pretty sure the Lost World Caverns are still open and you can go into them and tour them.
Yo, West Virginia, we're coming for you.
We gotta go.
Yeah. So Bat Boy was said to be a human child with large amber eyes, ears like satellite dishes, quote, on his head, fangs, and was raised by bats inside the complete darkness of that cave.
Oh my god, it's like Shark Boy, but like
it's like Shark Boy, but Bat Boy. So, and when I say boy, like I mean it. He was described as being 2 feet tall and weighed 19 pounds.
Whoa!
Okay,
how do they know how
he weighs?
Yeah,
they captured him, I guess. Like the story says that he was captured, but he managed to escape from the people that took him, and now he's on the run still to this day, and people are still trying to find him in like the Lost World caverns and. But yeah, people weren't scared of Bat Boy. He was just this little Bat Boy, and he quickly gained lots of popularity. Like he had a cult following. It's really funny actually. It said so like he was captured and then escaped and then recaptured and he escaped again.
Who's capturing him?
And having fallen in love, apparently. Apparently,
oh my
Bat Boy
god,
fell in love.
love in the air.
This is a whole movie.
Funny you say that.
I'm pretty sure they, yeah.
Funny you say that because the story of Bat Boy was turned into an off-Broadway musical.
Kyan,
called Bat Boy the Musical.
I was gonna say, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, that was a musical that was made after him.
When did this musical come out?
I'm not sure when it came out, but it ended its run in 2001.
Yeah.
So not like super, super old.
So now I'm just upset my high school didn't do it.
Bat Boy.
I would have loved to do that. You know how obsessed I would have been like? I was like, what was your, musicals in high school? Bat Boy.
Bat Boy. Apparently they use like, they use like, like helmets, like cave diving equipment and stuff like in the opening like number of the musical to like set the mood for discovering Bat Boy. I don't know. It seems really fun.
Wow. Yeah, they went all out.
It caught my ear as soon as you said Bat Boy.
Yeah.
It's just I was like, yeah, I was researching like, cryptids and things like that. And I was like, I just kept finding more about West Virginia. I was like, dude,
yeah, I know West
there
Virginia
are so many here.
My God. Okay, now we've got to see where Bat Boy the musical is played and go see it.
No, literally.
It ended in New York in 2000.
Yeah.
Like it made its way to New York.
I mean, like smaller theaters. I'm like, where is it now?
We gotta recreate it.
We'll make it.
Yeah. We'll bring everyone together for Bat Boy the musical.
Yeah, we will.
Man, so auditions for Bat Boy the musical, I would go. I don't know what the cast is like, but I just want to know more.
Like, I went on like Google Maps, and it's like a 5-hour road trip to get from like Point Pleasant, where the Mothman is, all the way to the Lost World Caverns, where Bat Boy is said to be, and like on that route as well is Flatwoods, West Virginia. So like, we could have Alexis gone.
Yeah, I think her battery died. Oh, she's back.
Oh, she's here.
It like, yeah, sorry.
She doesn't.
No, you're good. But yeah, we could go on like a 5-hour road trip. We could hit up Point Pleasant and the Mothman stuff. We could go to Flatwoods and go to the Flatwoods Monster Museum and go spelunking in the Lost World Caverns.
Honestly, yeah.
West Virginia. Why have you not
Mountain
made
Mama.
yourself known until now?
No, they really meant it in that song.
Take me
Which-
home.
Mountain
road.
Mama, take me
Oh.
home.
Like,
Country
what-
roads.
Copyrighted.
And that's are the cryptids of West Virginia.
Thank you. Thank you. Round of applause.
I don't know if I should say, but I'm proud of you, West Virginia.
I know, right?
I mean, like,
kinda
it's not your
fun.
choice to have cryptids, but like, you embrace them.
They really did.
Proud for you embracing them. That's what I meant to tell West Virginia.
Yeah.
I wish we had more cryptids to be proud of. Like, we've got, like, what, Bigfoot, but...
And then we got the Tahoe. I forgot the name, but we'll cover it at some point.
Yeah.
We'll go to Tahoe.
Yeah, we
I would
will.
love to.
Wow. I like that. West Virginia cryptids.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I'm very happy with that. I learned so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank
that.
you. No.
No, thank you.
Is this where we end the episode?
Hi. See
Bye,
you
guys.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave now.
Oh, yeah, you already left earlier. You should just, like, not come back. So,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have.
We'll be like, oh, she's done her stuff. She's said her stuff. She's out.
I did my due diligence. And then I just,
yeah. Good
That's
stories,
what
good
I tried.
stories.
Thank you. Yeah. We all had very good stories today.
We did. It was fun.
Proud of us.
So,
Proud of you.
episode
Yeah.
4.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
Thank you, everyone, for listening along.
Thank you.
And if you have any stories that you would like us to cover, send them through the website or just email it at
Yes.
chambersoftheoccult@gmail.com.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward. I am planning on maybe, looking into some of these and hopefully covering them. I don't know about you guys as well, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
I looked at them,
Yes.
I think yesterday
cool.
or today. Also, if you have any stories of your own, paranormal or true crime, if you've
Yeah.
had with either one of them, if your shoulder like bumped against a serial killer or
Yeah.
something, or
yeah, I mean, what if we
Yeah.
what if we brought them onto the podcast?
I was gonna be like the serial killer.
Yeah, the serial
Yeah.
killer. Yeah.
Call from jail.
If you have a cool enough story, maybe we'll let you onto the podcast, and join the cool
Yeah.
kids.
if you
have a
personally
guest
know us,
appearance.
reach out because we probably
yeah,
will.
yeah. If you
Yeah,
personally
yeah.
know us, yeah.
Actually, if you personally know us, reach out to us. That way we know you listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Please.
But yeah, write your stories in. We want to do a listeners episode where we cover y'all stories. And the more stories you write in, the more you hear from us.
Yeah, so feel free to suggest.
Thanks, everyone.
Check out our social media, our Instagram, TikTok, which we haven't posted yet, Facebook page, and our YouTube page, which we haven't posted yet. So honestly, just
We're getting there.
Yeah. At
Baby
Chambers of the Occult.
Awesome.
Amber.
Thank you
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
for listening. Have a good night or
night.
day or whenever you're listening. Have a good
Yeah.
life. You deserve it.
Enjoy the rest of your day, if there's any
Cool.
day left. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.